Hey, I haven't screened this call, but I can see the name on the caller ID. It's a gentleman that I also invited to come on the show, and I believe he was on your show last night, a certain Ryan.
Oh, wow.
Can I put him on with you?
That's great. Absolutely.
All right. If I hang up on you, call back. No, I know how to work a phone. Hey, Ryan, you're on with Dave and I. Is this Ryan?
Yes, sir, it is. Randy, how are you? Dave, good to hear from you again. I know it's been about 8 hours.
You too, man.
Why is it Ryan's phone
man,
sounds
great.
1,000
Thank you,
times
brother.
better? I'm sorry. I stepped all
No,
over you.
because I'm on speakerphone outside.
Oh, get off speaker if
Ryan
you don't
got his
mind.
microphone hooked up.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Ryan, it's a pleasure to speak with you for the first time. I've spoken with you, I guess, through Twitter and social media and stuff. Or maybe I met you at the Jorgensen event. I don't remember. I met a lot of people that day, and it was hectic, and I was super nervous. But have we met at the Jorgensen event, or were you there?
Yeah, I was there. That was actually where I met Dave for the first time as well. I was a new mover from New Jersey and left the People's Republic of NJ to come over to DE.
Well, cool. Awesome. All right. You have a novel coming out, or it is out. I haven't read it yet. You were kind enough to share me with the ability to read it. You're going to teach me how to read. No, but, you hooked me up with a link so I can see it. And I work 2 full-time jobs, so I just haven't had time yet, but I do want to check it out. Can you tell us a little bit about the book and where someone might purchase it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So yeah, it's a science fiction dystopian type setting that takes place in the tri-state area. So it's kind of in between South Jersey and Philadelphia. There's an island called Petty Island. Right now, it's just kind of an empty storage area. I think one of the large oil company owns it. But in my idea of the future, it's owned by the federal government. And after a pretty bloody war across Asia and Europe, the United States steps in at the very last minute, saves the day, and then the United States absorbs Canada and South America and becomes an authoritarian unistate.
Wow.
And the four main characters all have military backgrounds because that authoritarian state enacted 2 years of conscription, and they were all pretty successful. Well, they all get caught for various crimes under this new regime, and they were set to be executed on the now nationalized television service. But for some reason, they all had their sentences commuted if they were willing to do this thing. And they end up getting sent to Petty Island to deal with a problem that they know nothing about. And rumors surround this island as to what goes on there. They say they're building weapons or whatever, but it's just from the outside, it looks like an innocuous little military base. And then when the main characters get there and meet one another and figure out what's going on, it ends up being an entirely different thing than they expect.
Wow, you have quite the imagination, and you know how to write and spell words and things like that. I saw reviews on it. I might be being a little silly, but I did read the reviews, and not a bad one in the bunch. I mean, on Amazon, every review was 3 thumbs up. So that's awesome, man. You know who would read it, and probably if you handed it to him, Rick would be like, yeah, I just read it. Oh, well, you walked out of the room for 10 minutes. Yeah, I read it. I read a lot. I read fast, so he would be right on it and be all over because he reads a lot of books. I, on the other hand, do not. I mean, I do know how to read, but I'm just so busy.
The one thing that government schools did for you?
Yeah, they
reading
did.
And writing in 3rd grade.
That was the one thing, because they didn't have a drag queen an hour. They didn't think to have drag queens come in and entertain me and groom me at that time. It wasn't so cool to do that. Like now, it's the hep thing to do. The hep cats do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, thankfully that was not a thing when I was in school either. We just had, we had some frumpy old lady that's been teaching for 1,000 years. Sitting us down with Dr. Seuss.
Yes. I can only imagine my father getting a note. What are they showing him? Who? If that's a gentleman in there, he would have went off. He'd have been like, if I wasn't working 8,000 hours a week, I'd come down there and talk to you. Anyway, so yeah, that's amazing. So how can one obtain your novel that your creative mind has created?
So the first option is they can go just right onto Amazon.com and just search Project Manticore. That's Manticore. Or they can just go to my personal website, ryanbunting.com. It's the first link right on the home page, and it'll take you right to the Amazon listing. It's available in ebook, paperback, and hardback.
That's Ryan Bunting, Bunting.
Yes, sir, like baseball.
Yeah. That's when you take the bat, and you don't swing it. You just kind of hold it out, and the ball hits the bat. Yeah, that's good.
That's my approach to life.
What's
I'll
a balk?
Every walk I can get.
I remember I'd never watched any sports, but when I was a kid, my dad would take me to Phillies games, like maybe a handful of times, and I just enjoyed it because we were going to a great big stadium and walking around, and just seeing that was larger than life. And so I did enjoy the Phillies a little bit when I was a youngster, just because my dad did. But what the hell is a balk? When is that when you pretend you're throwing it to the home plate and then you turn around and you throw it to the first base? Why am I talking about sports? There's 49 sports stations. This is the only one that's not doing it, and I'm doing it. I'm the worst. Never mind. Who cares what a balk is?
Liberty.
Yeah, right.
We can bring it right back to liberty.
Yeah.
Balking is what the LP did in the face of 2 years of the largest experience of tyranny the country has probably ever seen, that my generation will ever see. They balked right at it and didn't put out a statement until a year and a half later. That's what balking is.
You're referring to the pandemic and the lockdowns and so forth, or am I missing the big picture?
Certainly.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we should have been all over that. Whoever the head muckety-muck was at the time, they should have said day one. I'm an idiot. I actually, in so many ways, sort of, I acknowledged I was wrong to a friend of mine. When I heard, you have 15 days to slow the curve or whatever, I literally, my one friend Steve came over, and we're standing in the kitchen. We're pouring shots of tequila, going, well, I'm not going to see you for 15 days. Like we were going to walk down into a bubble and hide. And I bought into all that. And meanwhile, my other friend who lives in my neighborhood, right near me, he's like, what? I'm still coming over your house. And we're like, no, you can't. We'll all die if we see each other. He's like, you're an idiot. Me and my kids are going out. I was like, what?
Yeah, so, the first weekend of the lockdown after Comrade Murphy over in New Jersey was like, yeah, stay in your homes. You couldn't go out past 8 o'clock because, 8 o'clock was when the virus really got active.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a night owl. But that first weekend of the lockdowns, I had like 30 people over. I was like, yo, we're having a flatten the curve party. Who wants to come over and drink? And we just listened to a bunch of metal and punk music, had some drinks, and
oh, good for you.
We kind of just did that ever since and didn't get sick once.
Yeah, I actually, and now I'm ashamed of doing it, but I'm going to say it. I actually posted, there was kids in Florida going, so what, man, if you get COVID, you get COVID. And I posted, negative things about them. Look at these idiots. So I'm at least admitting that I was wrong, like Fonzie says. So
I think it's okay to have a couple weeks of, being unsure. And, I mean, it's the government. You don't know what it's up or down or right or wrong. And, yeah, I was a little bit confused for a couple weeks, too. So,
thank you. I don't feel as bad now. You guys are smart, and I'm a dope.
There's nothing wrong with that. It was at first it was like, wait a minute, what is this? Because it's actually funny, because back in February of 2020, when the coronavirus was first starting to enter headlines, but they didn't realize it was in the United States yet.
Yeah.
I had made a post where I was like, oh man, I wonder what this is covering up.
Yeah. That's it. You're ahead of your time. All right. I need to go to the break. I'm very far behind. Why don't you both? All right. You have a book. You can get your novel at ryanbunting.com or on Amazon. What's the title of it again?
Project Manticore.
See, I got it wrong. Project Manticore Operation. That's your next one.
Yeah, I'll be the sequel.
And Dave Casey, you and I will have to speak. Obviously, all three of us should speak some more in the future. I might be on tomorrow as well, so we'll talk after the show. And Dave Casey, how can someone follow you?
Yeah, definitely. Follow my podcast on YouTube. It's Dave VS Goliath, and I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And go to lp-delaware.org if you want to help the party out in any way. That would be great. Definitely accepting donations there. And join the Mises Caucus at takehumanaction.com.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. Keep fighting the good fight. And
thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll do this again. We'll do it again in 10 minutes. All right. I'll see you guys. Thank you. Love you guys. You're the best. Take care. Bye-bye. All right.